Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. We have Scoob with us today. He's the host of Undiscovered Entrepreneur, where he actually helps entrepreneurs who just started their business or are starting their business really grow. And he's very helpful in that sense. So, Scoob, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hello, audience. My name is Jesse Blount, but everybody calls me Scoob, obviously, because I do the perfect Scooby-Doo voice and laugh. I am the host of the Undiscovered Entrepreneur, where we help brand new entrepreneurs that are just getting started in their entrepreneur adventure and get them over the four hurdles of stop, which is perfectionism, imposter syndrome, failure, and fear. Once you get over those hurdles, it's nonstop from there for you.
Great, excellent. Thanks for that controversial introduction. And yeah, can you just tell us like what actually inspired you to start this business?
Actually, what's funny is I actually started my business as a failure. When I first got started in an entrepreneurial adventure, I wanted to be a karaoke DJ and a music DJ. But I didn't have any equipment, I didn't have any money, absolutely nothing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start a GoFundMe page and people are just going to give me money. Wrong, that didn't happen. I think I only made a couple $100s in a couple of months, and that was my mom helping me out a little bit just so I don't feel so bad about myself. So after that failure, I was instead of throwing my hands up in the air and saying, "Okay, this wasn't meant for me," I wanted to figure out why it didn't happen. How come this didn't work for me? So after doing some research, I realized that I needed to gather an audience first before doing a crowd fund. So I was like, "Let's do a podcast." Okay, cool. So let's do a podcast. That's great. So what better way to learn how to run a business is to help other people and gather people around to help each other start businesses because we're all in the same boat when we do this. So I started interviewing people. I started doing the podcast. I love the podcast so much. I kind of put the karaoke thing aside, not up on the shelf, just on the side a little bit because I still want to do that. Um, now it's been 3 years. I've been interviewing new entrepreneurs. I've been finding out so much great information and just running into some fantastic people. I just kept going, and here I am 3 years later, almost 200 episodes in, and it's been an amazing, amazing ride.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah. And then in terms of the tips, some of the tips that you can share with entrepreneurs or people just starting their business, what could you tell them that would help them actually grow their business?
So the funny thing is over the 3 years that I've been talking to new entrepreneurs, four major things have always come up at every interview that I've done. The things that stop them from getting started in their entrepreneur adventure. So I call those the four hurdles of stop. So the four hurdles of stop are imposter syndrome, perfectionism, failure, and fear. These are the four things that always come up. So imposter syndrome, who am I to do this? What kind of qualifications do I have? Do you really need these things? I think experience talks more than just a piece of paper that says, I read this book and passed this test. So don't feel so bad about just getting started. We're all start at one point or another. That's one of the things I always talk about too. We always have a starting point. Perfectionism. Don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. If you wait for it to be perfect, you're basically just procrastinating. Get the smallest viable product to make whatever it is that you're putting out there and get it out there, get feedback from it and grow it from there. So you know that it's real, it's organic and not just stuck in your head waiting for this little tweak here or this little punch there to make sure it's perfect. Failure is it's going to be a constant. You're going to fail. It's a given. Just deal with it, basically. So whenever I talk about failure, I always think about an acronym, FAIL. First attempt in learning. This is your first try. Of course you're going to fail. Of course there's going to be a part of you that's going to fail because it's your first time. You've never done it before. So be ready for that. If you're mentally ready for that failure, when it does come, instead of being like like I said before, throw your hands up in the air and just give up. It's okay, what did I learn from this? And then what can I use? What information from that can I use for my next try, for my next adventure that I'm going to give a shot at and throw out there?
Totally.
And
And
fear.
Yeah, and then also when we were in the green room, you were mentioning how you actually coach some of those entrepreneurs and help them. And can you tell us a little bit more about how do you help them?
So what I really like to do is when I talk to my new entrepreneurs and when I coach them, I I want to give them the basics of how to get started so they can get across the start line in their entrepreneur adventure. What is in their zone of genius? That's one of the first things we talk about is what's in your zone of genius, how we find our zone of genius, and what can we use in our entrepreneur adventure that incorporates our zone of genius to help other people. Because ultimately, as entrepreneurs, that's what we want to be able to do is help other people with our zone of genius. If we're able to do that, we're gonna be able to sustain what we're doing because we love what we're doing so much because it's in our zone of genius. So we're in for it for the long haul because that's what we're in for. This isn't a quick thing. And from there, we gather audience. We try to figure out basically how it works. It really depends on what your zone of genius is, how the process goes. So it's really kind of hard for me to pin down exactly what it is without knowing what your zone of genius is, because I contour my coaching to whatever your zone of genius is.
Great. And then also like how can you actually help people find out what their zone of genius is?
So there's four basic questions that we ask ourselves in our zone of genius. If you want, I do have a PDF that I could put together. I did put out two podcasts and a YouTube video of how to find your zone of genius for those four basic questions. If you want, I can give those to you. That's a lot easier for me to remember them if I have them somewhere else. I only have so much I can fit up here.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
and it's really profound. That's what really got me going was and finding my zone of genius.
Great. If you can share that with our audience, that would be fantastic. We can actually add it to the description of this video as well. And then, yeah, what's your goal for your business for next 1 year?
For the next year, I want to have. I've actually thought about this a lot. So I want to have at least five constant clients for myself, and I want to have at least three speaking engagements that I've been involved with, and then just growing my business. And right now I'm doing this basically for free, but I want to be able to make a profit for myself too, because the more profit I make, the more people I'm going to be able to help. So that's kind of where that breaks down there too.
Totally. And if people want to find out a little bit more about you, about your podcast and so on, like how they can do that?
So if you want to get a hold of me, the best way to do that is to go to my Stan store. That's STAN dot store slash Scoob, SKOOB. I couldn't put C in there because I get in trouble with Warner Brothers. So it's SKOOB. So it's my stand store. Right there, you could book appointments with me. You could set up coaching with me, and you could find me on my social medias and all in the one spot.
Excellent. And is there any question maybe that I didn't ask you that you would like to actually share with our audience before we wrap up this episode?
You know, what's funny is that's one of the questions I ask my guests too. Have you been listening to my show? Um, really? No, you've actually been very, very, your questions are great. I really enjoy talking to you.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much for being a guest, Scoob. Thank you all for watching and listening. If you like this episode, please drop us a like and subscribe and also share it with your friends, family. Thank you and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.